So today, the official Star Wars website unveiled the Episode 9 cast announcement, the official list of the cast for Star Wars Episode 9, which is going to begin filming in just a few days. Now, this normally wouldn't be a big deal, but it is a big deal because of what we found out. And that is the fact that not only will Mark Hamill be reprising, his role as Luke Skywalker in the movie, which most of us already assumed. That shouldn't be a surprise. I've seen some people on social media talking about how shocked they were that Mark Hamill's coming back. And yeah, I know that Mark Hamill did complain about certain things about The Last Jedi, but he still has a role to fulfill because obviously Force Ghost Luke coming to Episode 9 was going to be a thing. I mean, he died in Episode 8, but he still has much more left to do. And he even gave Kylo Ren an omen, a warning at the end of the movie, how he's like, I'm always going to be with you. So I expect Force Ghost Luke to totally haunt Kylo Ren throughout Episode 9 and possibly even help Rey out with her training or with whatever she needs. But that's only one of the interesting tidbits about this. The really interesting tidbit is the fact that Carrie Fisher, who unfortunately passed away late 2017, about a year before Last Jedi even came out. I'm sorry, late 2016. Last Jedi came out at the end of 2017. She will be in this movie, and it's going to be Carrie Fisher. There have been rumors about, what are they going to do with Carrie Fisher? Right when she passed away, the question was, what are they going to do? Because it was already kind of made clear that she does not die in Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi, before the movie even came out. I mean, John Boyega talked about it, like, oh no, she doesn't die. And Rian Johnson said, whatever we had planned, we're not going to change. So what are they going to do? Well, they said back then they were not going to do the CGI thing where they were going to take someone else's face, or take CGI and put it on someone else's face. There had been rumors, which I think were unsubstantiated rumors, they were fake rumors, about Disney possibly casting Meryl Streep to play Princess Leia, and that does not sound like a good idea. Meryl Streep's a great actress, don't get me wrong, but recasting Princess Leia is bad. So what they've decided to do, what J.J. Abrams has said, is that they're going to be using footage that was already shot years ago for Star Wars The Force Awakens for Episode 7 that J.J. Abrams has. They're going to be using that stock footage and using that to somehow fit it into Star Wars Episode 9. The quote here from J.J. Abrams, you can see on your screen, he writes, "We desperately loved Carrie Fisher," says Abrams. "Finding a truly satisfying conclusion to the Skywalker saga without her eluded us. We were never going to recast or use a CG character. With the support and blessing from her daughter Billy, we have found a way to honor Carrie's legacy and role as Leia in Episode 9 by using unseen footage we shot together in Episode 7. Now, I have questions about this. Now, what they can do, okay, and let me explain what I'm trying to say here. So, when they shoot these movies, and some folks don't know this, so if you do know this, bear with me. There's always hours and hours and hours and hours of footage, alternate takes, deleted scenes that get cut from the film. And some of this stuff never even ends up being a deleted scene. Like, there's scenes that are deleted scenes that aren't really, quote, air quotes, deleted scenes. So when you get a Blu-ray or a DVD and it has deleted scenes on it, those aren't the only deleted scenes from that film. There's a lot of stuff that gets left, on the cutting room floor nowadays on someone's hard drive, and it just never gets used. Now, what I'm curious about is, what scenes, how much footage is there really of Carrie Fisher, and how can they take that footage out of the original context and put it into Episode 9? Because remember, the only scenes Carrie Fisher was in Force Awakens, the only locations that she was in was the one scene where she lands on Maz Kanata's planet and she meets Han Solo for the first time. They reunite. They can't really reuse that because Harrison Ford, his character, Han Solo died, so they can't really redo that unless they do some clever editing. And then there's also some stuff they shot at the Rebel base, or at the Resistance base, which was, of course, evacuated in The Last Jedi, so they're not going to go back to that. So what they're going to have to probably do is take footage of her either on blue screen and change the blue screen background, or some extreme close-ups, or play with it to where she's going to be in the film. But I'm thinking she's going to have a small part in the film. I'm not expecting it to be a big part because this, cutting this up is going to be a pain because they're going to have to go back and see what she said, what dialogue was recorded. They might have to re-record the dialogue with a voice actress who can imitate her. This has actually been done several times in movies. That's one thing I will tell you guys. One of the movie secrets is that a lot of times actors don't do their own ADR work. So sometimes you'll have imitators actually come in at a much lower rate and record over actors. Like if somebody sounds like Mark Hamill, they can get a role playing a dub of Mark Hamill with Mark Hamill's actual voice in it, because he couldn't make the ADR, or because he was too expensive, or whatever the case may be. So it's very possible they're going to find someone who sounds like Carrie Fisher to kind of dub over her mouth if they have to change the context of certain lines. I mean, that's just movie magic. That's just what they do. But to me, that's a really interesting story. And I'm happy that they're choosing to keep her alive, you know, in spirit like this. But I'm just really curious about how they're going to do it. Like, you know, this is one of those things where I'm going to check out the Blu-ray extras, and I really hope there's a documentary or a mini documentary or something about how they do this, because I think that's going to be really cool. Also, they announced here that John Williams coming back to compose the film. That's, again, not a surprise. John Williams himself said this is going to be the last Star Wars movie he ever does. He is getting up there in age, so he's going to go ahead and complete what they're calling the Skywalker saga. There's, of course, some stuff here about Kathleen Kennedy Abrams and Michelle Rejwan being the producers. I mean, that's just more behind-the-scenes stuff. The actual returning cast members here, Daisy Ridley, Adam Driver, of course, they're going to be Rey and Kylo. John Boyega, Oscar Isaac, Lupita Nyong'o, so we're going to... This is not a surprise. Maz Kanata back in the film. Domhnall Gleeson, Kelly Marie Tran. So, yes, Kelly Marie Tran is coming back to portray Rose, which, again, I'm not surprised. She survived episode 8. Juna Sutamo and Billy Lord. Joining the cast of episode 9 are Naomi Ackie, Richard E. Grant, and Kerry Russell. Of course, Kerry Russell is Felicity, who was really a huge part of J.J. Abrams' early career, and actually, well, a lot of his career. That's one of his people. You know what I mean? That's shouldn't be a surprise there. And it says they'll be joined by veteran Star Wars actors Mark Hamill, Anthony Daniels, and Billy D. Williams, who will reprise his role as Lando Calrissian. Again, that was already announced. That should not be a surprise. You know, they will be there. I'm wondering if Leia will do something with Lando. I don't know. They're going to have to do some really clever editing. They can do it with technology nowadays. They might not, like, redo her entire face and things like that, but they can take an image of Carrie Fisher on a blue screen and cut, or maybe even not even on a blue screen, and cut it out and put her on, like, the deck of a ship, or put her somewhere else. But she definitely dressed differently in Force Awakens than in Last Jedi. In Force Awakens, she was dressed more like, you know, more chill, less, I guess, she didn't overdress. It was just different clothing, you know what I mean? So they're going to have to put her back in those clothes, unless they, again, do some CGI work where they can kind of paint over it, which they can do. I mean, all this stuff can be done, especially with the fact that this is Disney, and it's also Industrial Light and Magic. And just because, you gotta understand, Industrial Light and Magic was George Lucas' company to do special effects, but they also have worked on Avengers. They've worked on all the MCU films since the purchase of Lucasfilm. That was part of the purchase. So these people are the best in the business at what they do. So I'm looking forward to it. I really am. Again, I'm not excited about Star Wars as I was before Last Jedi. I'm curious about what JJ will do. I'm not sitting here. I'm not going to play that game that people are playing now where it's like, oh my God, Clone Wars is back. Star Wars can be saved. No, I still think Last Jedi did really hurt my interest in the fandom. Not just because of what they did with the characters, but because of the fact that the story stopped threading after a while. So I got really invested in all these books and these comics and whatnot, and it really went nowhere. You know what I'm saying? It's unfortunate, though, because if you notice in this cast list, it does not have Andy Serkis. So nothing with Snoke. Again, unless they're keeping it a secret, because there has been some talk that maybe Snoke survived somehow. You know, I don't think so, but I don't believe so. But fans have been saying that. It's not listed here. But again, if he did survive, it would be a spoiler, so they wouldn't put it here. And that's what I'm saying, is that just because this is the cast list, this is not the entire cast list. I mean, Frank Oz was never officially listed as playing Yoda in Last Jedi, and I think Frank Oz could be in this movie. I think there's a very good chance we'll see Force Ghost Frank Oz in here. We might see Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan, possibly. I don't know for sure. We might even see Hayden as Anakin. It's very possible. Just because they're not listed here does not mean they won't be in the film. But I look forward to seeing the movie, because I am going to go in with an open mind. I'm going to see if JJ can save this thing. I don't think that Star Wars is magically saved. Like I said, I still think that Last Jedi hurt my interest in the film. If it didn't hurt yours, that's okay too. but I look forward to seeing what they do with it and what JJ does. Anyways, leave a comment down below. What do you think about Leia coming back, Carrie Fisher coming back? That's a big deal to me. Luke, of course, we all knew. Lando, again, we knew. It's been reported several times. Leia is a pretty big deal, especially the fact that it's Carrie Fisher. It's Carrie Fisher. That might be even more emotional than how it was watching her in Last Jedi. Anyways, that's it. I'll talk to y'all soon.